Well, 41 minutes after 8, let's go and welcome in a special guest in the studio this morning. John Thompson, our city clerk here in Andalusia, Alabama, is here today to try to help kind of make sense of some information that was coming out of the city council meeting this past Tuesday night, where there's some things being discussed about garbage and recycling and rate structures and trying to make things balance for revenues and expenses. Of course, you know, our garbage system in Andalusia works flawlessly. Our street department is just always Johnny on the spot. Anytime you put something out by the road, I don't care if it's a pile of leaves or limbs or maybe you remodeled your bathroom or your kitchen, you blink your eyes and it'll be gone in a short flash, as many times they make passes through your neighborhood at least once a week and sometimes more than that. But with that service comes expenses, and of course we all know things continue to rise, and one of the things that has to be addressed is the price you're paying for your garbage service. But don't fret, because it's not major, folks. Even though you may have read something yesterday that alarmed you, especially as a business owner, sometimes it's just the way things are presented or the way things are interpreted. They're maybe reported incorrectly, not on purpose, but just human error. And so today we want to clear some of that up. No, your garbage is not going to cost you $67 a month. Currently, your garbage, John, I believe it's $15 a month.
$15 a month for a business.
Single trash can,
that's right?
right?
Per hobo, as we call them.
Yeah,
or wheeled container, as our ordinance reads.
You know, a lot of times Wynn and I were talking yesterday. Cities say, "What'd you call that?" We said, "We call it a hobo." We call it a trash receptacle or a trash. Regardless of what you call it, the green device that you put your trash in has been costing $15 per month for residences and for businesses for one hobo.
That's right, per month.
And that is proposing to go to
$20.
$20, regardless if it's a residence
or business.
Or business.
Right. There are a handful of accounts, business accounts, and that's where the confusion lies, that they're called bins, and those bins are obviously their capacity is much larger, and therefore the price is much more than a standard hobo.
Right,
so there's where the confusion is. But 99% probably of our customers that use hobos, and they do use hobos, whether it's business or residence, the price will increase, proposed increase from $15 to $20.
And this Tuesday night was kind of the first reading.
That's right. It's an ordinance, so we're required to have a first reading, and that's what this is all about. It gives the public an opportunity to understand what the city council is doing. And you made a great point. You can't discuss garbage and trash and sanitation in Andalusia without talking about the quality of service.
That's right.
And that is credit to the people that are actually doing the work. And I'll give you a couple of quick examples to the level of service that they provide us. This past Monday was a holiday. We enjoyed President's Day, and it was a city holiday, and our people enjoyed a holiday too. Tuesday, one of the wettest days we've had in a long time, rained all day long. Mm-hmm. What that holiday means is that all the garbage that was normally picked up on Monday will be picked up on Tuesday, and all of the Tuesday garbage will be picked up on Tuesday.
Right.
So they worked a double day.
In the rain.
All day long, and didn't skip a beat. And you can't have this discussion without talking about the amazing work that goes on in our streets every day in the city of Andalusia. Another example, a few weeks ago, we had a tornado on the east side of town. Luckily, we had no serious injury, but within minutes, our people, not only the rescue, fire, police, and emergency responders, and we had some great help from the sheriff's department and the city of Ops, sent some people over, but our street department, sanitation people were out there within minutes.
That's right.
Clearing the streets, and within a few days, everyone who lost a tree in the yard or pulled things off their house or yards, all the stuff that was piled at the street was removed.
That's
so
right.
We have an amazing street and sanitation department that does incredible work for us, and that point is not lost with the city council either. The other point I will make is that the city council takes business like this very, very seriously. This has been something that has been discussed for months. It was the discussion first began in a strategic planning meeting back in the fall after the election, but before they took office on November 1st for this term. And by nature of their oath of office, the city council is responsible to protect the financial integrity of the city. And that's where this discussion began. And it was a very organic discussion. It came from taking that point to a thorough review. The city council has begun a thorough review of every program in the city, every dollar, every penny, regardless of how big or how small. They've already begun a very thorough review to make sure that we're getting the right effect, and most of the citizens of the city of Andalusia are getting the benefit of what it is that we're doing or how we're spending our money. So that's where this began. and it has been a very enlightening process. You may have read are spending currently $1 million a year to keep Andalusia clean, and that's all of the services that we talked about. That's your hobo, the debris at the street, mosquito spraying, everything that we do in regards to sanitation. So it's a very expensive. It's one of our biggest programs. It's one of our most popular programs. The people are very happy with the service that they get out there, but as you and I all know, in operating a business, there's an expense, and in this case, a considerable expense. The second thing we did that the council asked us to do was conduct a survey. We looked at the rates that other cities are charging, and before we went on the air, you and I were talking about all the other options. You can contract. There are contractors out there. The county contracts with a waste hauler, and there are pros and cons to all those. Some are cost effective. They cost less, but the quality of service, the things that you get are not the same as if you do it yourself. So you have to weigh all of those things out. And again, it was a process that took months. This is not something that was done flippantly or in a hurry, but I can tell you from my perspective, every member, mayor and city council, don't make decisions quickly. They like a lot of data and a lot of information before they make decisions, and this is very typical of the way the Andalusia City Council works.
You know, something interesting about the garbage service, and believe me, I take notice at these guys because they are working a very tough job. They're working in cold, they're working in rain, they're working in heat, you know, and it's early work.
With garbage.
And on top of that, people are just inconsiderate. You know, as you see the truck in and around the streets, and they've got their, you know, flashing lights, they've got their LEDs flashing, they've got their safety colors on, and their rain suits that are reflective. But, you know, people just blow by them. And, I mean, that's somebody's father or uncle.
That's right.
But not only that, if a can is not placed exactly correct, they don't just overlook it. They do the extra effort to go get it and dump it and put it back. And very seldom do you see a can that's overturned, flipped upside down, turned upside down, as you would see maybe in a contract service where they don't get out of the truck.
Or if it's not placed exactly by the terms of the contract, it's not picked up at all.
That's right.
In fact, take it a step further, our people, if it's a situation with an elderly or infirm situation, we go and get the hobo from behind the house, take it out, dump it, and put it back. So that's the kind of thing you're never going to get with a contractor. And that, again, that's the sort of thing that the city council wants to know about before they make a decision of this magnitude.
Now, speaking of that, let's make sure we kind of reiterate. Your current garbage rate for a single receptacle trash bin, the green hobo, is currently at $15.
Right.
The proposal is to go from $15 to $20, regardless of whether you are a residence or a business owner.
That's right.
Now, if you have more than one receptacle, is there any discount for that, or is that second one still going to be the $20?
Right, exactly. Okay. And you can get it picked up more than once a week, and the price increases by the same with each stage. If it's picked up more frequently, and if you have multiple hobos, but it's all based on that $20 per hobo weekly per month.
And then again, there was in the published story yesterday, there was some rates talking about once per week pickups, twice per week pickups, 3 times per week, 4 times per week. And this is for some larger businesses in our area
with
bins. Now, I understand, I had a conversation yesterday with Glenn Rawls with the city and the street department, and he said, you know, some of those have large bins. They require multiple pickups per week. We asked that they put their garbage in a trash bag, and we physically go and remove those bag by bag.
That's why the cost is, because it's a labor intensive process.
Right. So these $67 a week, and the rates went all. You know, a lot of people were completely freaked out.
And
about
again,
that.
We have 7 customers or accounts that one applies to. So therein lies the confusion.
Right. And again, if you haven't priced a steel storage, trash bin lately from a contractor, those are very expensive as well. So, again, $20. Just remember, this proposal is a $20 fee versus a $15 fee for a standard green hobo at your home or your business. And I think that maybe helps to clear that up.
It does.
Let's talk a little bit about what else goes on in that $1 million budget, from recycling to picking up trash along the roadways. I know
recycling is not a part of that. That's only the trash, the hobo garbage and trash, and mosquito spraying is included in that.
And the mosquito spraying is something we've probably getting a little more accustomed to. But
we can't get enough of that, and that's an impossible task. We spray and spray and spray, but
And I guess that's been going on for years. But
all my life, I can remember mosquito spraying in Andalusia.
No doubt.
I don't think that you can ever spray enough. We're never going to kill them all, but we do spray a lot. And we'll continue to spray.
John, this first reading, which is a requirement by law, you read it out, you get it out in the open, let the people begin to chew it. And yesterday was one of those days. I think it went through every coffee table and every business.
That's, like you say, part of the process.
And so a lot of people, I'm sure you were probably got calls at City Hall about it, or council members were called, street department was called. If you do have additional questions, by all means, you're free to express your opinion on
please
that.
Please do. I'm at City Hall every day and welcome the comments and input and report those to the mayor and city council. So please, we encourage comments and solicit those and are welcome. Comments and suggestions are welcome.
And let me also ask this. Have you looked at revenue versus expense? And if so, where are we in line on that?
That's a good question. Currently, we're losing about $220,000 a year. Or I say losing, at $15 a month, we're only recapturing about 75% of the cost. So that again, that's one of the points of changing the fee, is to get it more in line with the cost. And this has to be done periodically. Again, you have to review it, or over time that gap gets so wide that you're behind the curve, so to speak, and you got to make a big jump. So again, that's part of the council's being proactive and looking ahead and trying to say, all right, let's adjust this at a reasonable level. In addition to that, that gives us a slight margin that we plan to apply that to continue the sanitation in Andalusia. We have a chronic, horrible litter problem, and that's universal. That's everywhere.
Absolutely.
We cannot encourage people enough not to litter. They're still going to litter. We can clean up certain sections of Andalusia, and by the end of the day or the next day, these certain locations will have litter on them again. So what we intend to do, and we've already got a contract that we're about to distribute for right-of-way mowing and cutting, and we're including a provision in that for litter control. So we're, again, trying to solicit local business interests to help us with that and use some of these additional revenues that we're going to realize from the increase in garbage and trash to control litter in Andalusia. So the sanitation is not just confined to garbage removal and trash removal, but litter is a chronic problem in Andalusia, and we intend to address that.
Absolutely, absolutely. John, if you will, let's talk a little bit about other things going on in the city right now while you're here.
Well, you know that downtown is a huge point of interest. Downtown Andalusia is coming back, and one of the things that I'll point to that's been going on in its third year is Candyland. Candyland has been an amazing program that was the brainchild of Chrissy Duffy at the Chamber.
Yeah.
We started 3 years ago. 2015, December 2015 was our first year. And we started with a few cottages on the square, and it has grown. Last year, we had, in addition to all the other, we added a slide, a really cool slide. We had a little choo-choo train that we added 2 years ago, and we have an ice skating rink. And I can't tell you how many businesses have built these play cottages, interactive play cottages, and it has had an amazing effect on our sales tax receipts for all of Andalusia. The first, and I'm comparing Decembers to Decembers from 13 to 14. In 2014, we were 5% over the previous December. So 5% increase in sales taxes in that first year. The second year, we had a 1% increase. So that continues to build upon the success. And this past year, we received or noticed a 3% increase in sales taxes December to December. So that's a pretty significant 9% increase in 3 years in those Decembers. So I can say with empirical data that Candyland is having a major impact on business in Andalusia, and hopefully downtown specifically, and that's the rest of the story. The next thing, as you know, we have begun a major downtown redevelopment program. The city had, through a generous gift from the O'Neill family, they gave us the theater.
Everyone wants to know when, John. When?
Oh, yeah, I know. That's big news.
As you ride by every day, you can see
more, don't you?
Yeah.
It's getting exciting, and we all can't wait to see it lit up. It's just going to make a huge impact on the night aesthetic quality of downtown Andalusia. But hopefully March, maybe April at the latest. I think it is really coming along. It's going to be spectacular. You're going to see another boost of activity downtown when that opens. We opened Big Mike's Steak and Seafood back in late November. It's been hugely successful. It's drawing people into downtown. That, coupled with Candyland, is why we're having this effect. correct. And just a couple of days ago, CJ's Grill is back in downtown Andalusia, right here, and amongst everything. I came down this time or a little later in the day, about midday yesterday, and it was a beehive down here, very busy. So that's what we want. That's what we're aiming to have in downtown Andalusia. And you'll remember the City Council approved our purchase of the Timmerman Building, or the First National Bank Building, at the end of last year. And stay tuned. I hope that you'll hear Mayor Johnson making a pretty exciting announcement about that in the very near future.
And there's been some work going on. There's been, you can see the cherry picker. They've got a huge piece of equipment. Looks like been working on the exterior and the windows of that building, which we all know were in terrible shape.
That was a public safety matter. We had some loose windows up there, and our people have been. Our maintenance department has been out there repairing those and securing all those things to make sure the public is safe. And those things are being taken care of right now and should be finished within the next couple of weeks.
Beautiful building in our downtown. And, of course, a lot going on. Now, let's also remember, we were talking about Candyland just a little bit ago. I can't remember what weekend it was, but it was a couple of weeks before Christmas, and I came downtown one Friday or Saturday night, and it looked like we were having a parade
in
Andalusia from the post office all the way to the square and on both sides of the road. And the truth of the matter is I didn't recognize a lot of the people.
That's exactly right.
And so they were coming from other places, and I know that it's been promoted not only through social media and through a web page specific for Christmas in Candyland, but it's also received some statewide attention through Absolutely Alabama.
They were here, did a show.
Yeah, those shows air all over the state on different television networks. They have since been back, I do believe, to feature, I think it's Big Mike's. I'm not sure that has aired yet.
Right, okay.
But I understand they've been here to record a segment on Big Mike's, which will bring more exposure to Andalusia. And that'll air, from Huntsville to Birmingham to Mobile, Montgomery, and Dothan.
For us.
So a lot going on in downtown. And I want to thank you for coming in this morning.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me.
I think the best way to handle this information about the garbage rates is just to hit it head on. So to sum it up, folks, if you've got a garbage can, it's $15 now. The proposal is to go to $20 per month for that single pickup, and that is for homes or businesses. Other than that, it's business as usual.
That's right.
And again, I want to shout out to the guys. We do it pretty regular at the Public Works Department and Street Department. They are the unsung heroes of our town. And they do a lot to keep us all looking fresh and clean. So I want to just thank them as well. John, thank you for being here today. John Thompson, City Clerk of City of Andalusia. And, folks, if you do have questions about this garbage rate increase and to maybe clear up any rumors that you're hearing from other sources, please give your city councilman a call or call City Hall, and you will be put in touch with someone who you can voice that to. And, of course, the next council meeting will be an opportunity, I guess, to come in and
all of our meetings are public.
Well.
The work session is public. The regular meeting is public at 5 o'clock. The work session is in the conference room at City Hall, first and third Tuesdays. And then, of course, the main meeting is in the auditorium at City Hall at 6 o'clock.
John, you mentioned earlier about the tornado that came through our east side of town a while back, and as you know, a lot of people received some damage from that. Luckily, the timing of that was,
the RV park.
The RV, man, 2 or 3 hours later would have been a whole different story.
Certainly.
But
extremely fortunate.
Still a lot of cleanup going on in some of these areas and homes that are being repaired. Anything that you want to pass along from that? I know that was a kind of a blow to our city one afternoon, but you mentioned the response from our crews
within
were great.
Minutes. And I didn't mention utility. Our utility people were out there, our maintenance people, our building inspection people, knocking on doors, checking on elderly people. It was one of the most amazing things you've ever seen. Luckily, it was a small event. No one was seriously hurt or injured. And as you also pointed out, could have been much, much worse. But the response was incredible. And it gives you some relief to know that if it were, or if something awful does happen, that the response, our people are trained and ready, and the response will be immediate, and help is on the way.
No doubt, no doubt. 9 o'clock is the time. Thanks for being here today. We're going to let you go to your regular job now. And
thank you very much.
Thanks for what you do for Andalusia, John. You represent us well.
Thank you, sir.
All right, John Thompson, our city clerk of Andalusia. 63 degrees out there. Good morning. We've got more news and information updates on the way.